quietly and follow along. At any point, click the pause button to catch up or take a break. Hi, in this video, we're going to be doing a little bit of collage work, but we're also going to be focusing on painting with a fork. Painting with a fork gives us a really nice texture and flow, and also a great way to blend the paint. In this case, we'll be doing it on our tree to really utilize the paint and the texture that the fork provides. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you have a blank piece of paper, and you can color the sky anything you want. So I'm going to be doing a nice ombre effect, which is a nice fade of one color to nothing, just to give the sky a nice scene. Okay. Here's what I did, and I left a little room at the bottom because that's where our snow is going to be covering it. But also in our picture, we can add, using a white crayon, some dots for stars. Our tree is going to be a nighttime tree. These also could look like snow depending whatever you want to do. I'm doing them in all variety of sizes. You can also use a yellow crayon, and I'm just going to grab one real quick. Yellow is also a really good way to represent the stars and the moon. Here I'm just going over the blue paper with a yellow crayon, but if I go over the white, it really brightens up those stars. So that's a good way how we can blend colors and use the materials. There we go. Next, what I'm going to do is we're going to cut out a moon to really show our viewer that it is nighttime. I'm going to be using a Sharpie marker, that way you can see it nice and clearly, but you're going to probably want to use a pencil for this. Our moon is going to be kind of curved. It's not going to be like a circle, but a nice curved moon. So I'm going to start by drawing one short curve. It's kind of like if you turn it, it's almost like a flat letter N or U. And then I'm, from that tip, going to make a larger curve, and you might have to connect it somehow, just like that. That's going to be my moon, and I'm going to cut that out. Great, here's my moon. You can turn it any way you want on your paper. Maybe you want the moon over here going that way. Maybe you want the moon over here going this way. Whatever you want, or you can have it even right there like that. I am going to, I'm gonna put my moon right over there. Okay, all you'll need is a glue stick and to glue that on. All right, now we can glue on our moon. You're gonna wanna give your moon maybe a slight tilt up. There we go. Just some nice pressure there to keep it down. Okay, next in our picture, we're going to move on and do the snowy ground of our picture. I'll just move this up a little bit so you can see it. What we're going to do next is we have a piece of white paper, and it should fit up with the size of your paper. But I'm going to use my marker, and I want to make the ground a little bit, instead of it being perfectly straight, I'm going to use my pencil, and I'm just going to draw some kind of like a nice dragged line. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. This represents the real world and how the land moves in life. Okay, so now I'm going to cut that out after I drew that line. Sometimes snow is more than in other areas. There we go. That looks much more like ground. And snow happens, you know, it doesn't all blow the same. It has all different kind of bumps to it too. Makes it more like a landscape. So we can now glue down that white piece. I'm lining up the bottom corners and the sides so my paper is all even. There we go. Much better. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to cut out a tree. And there's a secret trick to how you can do this. You have a piece of green paper. It can be any size. I'm just going to cut this down so it's not as tall. Okay, you're going to take that piece of paper. And since my tree is going the long way, I'm going to have my paper that way. I'm going to fold it directly in half. Okay, just like so. Make sure your crease where it's folded is on the right side. Now with your pencil, we're going to draw half a tree. If you just like to watch first, this is a shortcut in a way to making trees. You can also do this with hearts as well. Okay, at the tip of my tree is going to be the tip of my paper. I'm only making half the tree. And then when I unfold it and cut it, it will be like the perfect tree and equal on both sides. I'm going to start with my pencil at the tip of my paper and go straight down at an angle. I'm then going to bring my pencil in a little bit, going straight across. Picking up where I left off, I'm going to drag my pencil down and drag it across to the right. Again, we're repeating the same step over and over, but I'm making sure this line that's diagonal is maybe getting a little bit bigger. That will show that my tree is getting bigger too. Now I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more to the edge of my paper. And now I'm going to go all the way across. That is half my tree. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and keep my paper folded and cut along that line. When I do so, the tree will unfold and be perfect on both sides. I'm cutting to the inside because I do not want my Sharpie marker line to show. You may cut on your pencil line. Okay, putting my scissors and my scraps aside or in the recycling bin, I have half a tree, but here comes the magic of this and the secret shortcut. You can open up your paper and you have a perfectly symmetrical tree. Pretty awesome. Before we glue that down, we do want to make a little tree stump. And we're going to do that by just taking some brown paper. I'm using the corner because I would like a nice rectangle. Instead of me cutting it out from the center, this will save time and paper. Pretty great. So here's my tree stump and my tree. Now that I have both pieces, I can figure out where I want to place things. Maybe I want to bring my tree down a little bit more so it's not so much in my sky. That's about where I want to do it. So now you're going to take your handy dandy glue stick and glue down your tree trunk and your tree. Okay, pressing down my tree. There we go. This is looking beautiful so far. Now we're going to be using the fork painting method to texture our tree and to add different shades of green. Kind of odd, you think, you'd be painting with a plastic fork, but this really does wonders. Bring over my paints. I'm going to start by just dipping and doing a little drag with my fork into the paint. So touching and dragging like a little brush. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to start, you can start anywhere on your tree really, but I'm going to start towards the center and pull out drag and lift, drag and lift. Let's repeat that again. Drag and lift, and when I go to get paint, you can put in a little white if you want to lighten up the color. You're then going to drag and lift, drag and lift, drag and lift, drag and lift, back and forth. And you can do it all different angles. Remember, tree branches come at all different ways. You can add a little more. When you get towards the edges, you have to be very careful, just little drags. And you can go over where you previously painted to get different stroke directions. Here I'm changing, going the opposite direction. That's fine as well. Pretty cool. Remember, we're gonna drag and lift the paint from our palette and drag it and lift it off of our tree. Drag and lift, drag and lift. You have to be careful with fork painting, you don't really goob it on there. That's why it's important to really drag it and spread it out. I'm gonna put a little more white. Awesome, now I'm just gonna drag the paint and see the strokes from my fork really give the tree a realistic texture. All those little branches that trees have. Awesome, now I'm gonna stop applying paint because I feel like I have enough. And once again, I'm just going to drag the tip of my forks in the paint, kind of going in a diagonal direction that matches the outside shape of the tree. It's okay if you get a little paint off of your tree. I think that really gives it a good effect. All right, we are done fork painting and texturing our tree. We're then gonna go into finger painting, and we're just gonna add some snow to the tips of our tree. Finger painting is a different type of texture. Think of it when we use our finger and we paint, it's giving little more chunks and globs of paint. Think about like bundles of snow, okay? So I'm gonna take my finger. I'm gonna show a lot of self-control, just using one finger and dipping it gently in the paint. And towards the bottom, all the edges of our tree, I'm going to just dab some of my finger. There we go. It's okay if it blends in a little bit, that's fine. That's just the tree branches coming through the snow, which would happen in real life. Going to add a little bit there, a little bit over here, just up and down, up and down. I can add a little bit right here. Be a little bit towards the top and maybe that top point. Awesome. Make sure you're getting some white towards the edges of your tree. That's a lot where the snow collects, is towards those edges. I'm just doing all my edges towards the end here now that I have the main part of the tree filled with white. Excellent. See how it's important to have everything glued down and ready for when you paint? Makes it a little easier. I'm just going to add a little bit more bundles of white in some areas. And then I would consider this snow tree done. Isn't it awesome? Thank you so much for watching. Once the paint is dried, if you'd like, you can add different areas and animals and things down the bottom of the snow, maybe snowman, whatever you choose. All right, happy arting!